So Krystal and I were hiking to Wall Street Mill in Joshua Tree National Park, and I was kind of on the fence whether or not I was even going to shoot a video here, to be completely honest, but found something kind of interesting back here. Let's see what we got. So back behind the Wonderland Ranch, which I'll show you in a minute, I found a bit of a path and followed it back here, and I noticed this right here. So we've got, you can see, somebody had built a wall and what looks like it was a door here at one point. I'm not 100% sure what this was, but it is really cool, like physically temperature wise in here. So my best guess is that this was probably cold storage. And then I also noticed down here we've got this hole, and I have no idea what that hole is, but it kind of looks like a hominy hole or something like that. So it could be Native American. Don't know for sure, but yeah, let's walk over here and take a look at Wonderland Ranch. I'll show that to you guys. So this is the path I had followed to end up finding that spot. It's just right behind the ranch. And what actually made me notice this was this construction here. I have no idea what it was, but that's what caught my eye and proof that Krystal was here. But over here, this is the Wonderland Ranch I have been referring to. Just the remains of, well, an old ranch out here. Let's go around the front, take a little bit better look at it. So this is the front of Wonderland Ranch. Not a whole lot left at this point. You can clearly see, whoops, if I can manage to not fall, at some point this place burned. The framing around the doors and windows is all charred. Come in, not a whole lot left. You can see where the back wall fell in. And then back here, I'm assuming that was a well or a cistern or something along those lines. And then really the only thing left, other than that front bit, is the old fireplace. Still kind of a cool spot though, and you can't deny that is some absolutely amazing scenery out here. It's my first time in Joshua Tree, so I've just been soaking it in. Just happened to notice this in the concrete, November 21st, 1939. And then one last thing to note here is along the walls, people have kind of put some of the artifacts that they found through here. Don't really know what this was. It's porcelain of some kind. And I assume these were probably part of the roof, like the old chimney and stuff. And of course you got round nails, which you could use to date this. Obviously we already know it's probably from the 30s, from that carving we found, but round nails tells you it's after the late 1800s. Before that it would have been square. Unfortunately I can't remember the exact year that they invented the machine to spin the wire to get round nails. I want to say the 1897 or so. But that is one way you can kind of date some of these sites if you're not quite sure. Looks like lid of an old can. More evidence of fire. Okay, just a little ways down from Wonderland Ranch is the next really cool artifact. And honestly, this is way cooler than Wonderland Ranch in my opinion. It's the remains of an old truck. It actually still has the engine. Usually you don't see that in these old rusted trucks that are just out in the middle of nowhere. Even has what's left of the tires on it. Yeah, if anyone knows what kind of truck this was, let me know. Just a little ways down from the truck is even more ruins. I don't know if you can see them in the GoPro just yet. It's right about there. It's the remains of an old windmill. So yeah, it's a pretty cool old windmill. And the actual pumping mechanism is actually still pretty well intact there, really. And scattered around here are a few other things like Got some piles of wood and cable. No idea what that would have been. Old water tank. And yeah, just all kinds of just debris. There's probably some structures out here at one time, but those are long gone. I think that's basically all the ruins we expect to see till we get down here to the Wall Street Mill. Should be pretty easy walk out there, completely flat, just in kind of the open desert here, so it shouldn't take us too long to get out there. Okay, so I didn't mention this earlier because I wasn't positive if this was the right location, but I found a marker that confirms that it is. So I believe the owner of Wonderland Ranch, the building that we were just at, was a man named Worth Bagley. And his neighbor was a man named William F. Keyes, who owned a ranch called the Keyes Ranch, which is actually a ways down the road here. Now these two would constantly have land disputes, and eventually in 1943 this culminated in Mr. Keyes shooting and killing Bagley. And he had put a stone here, marking it. And it says, "Here's where Worth Bagley bit the dust at the hands of W.F. Keyes, May 11th, 1943. This obviously isn't the original marker. Unfortunately, somebody had vandalized that and the Park Service removed it. But they did at least put a recreation of it out here, which is pretty cool. So minor correction, or not really a correction so much as just more detail. So the stone that Keyes placed there, marking where he murdered his neighbor, he actually placed there in 1948 after he was released from San Quentin for the murder. So it sounds like Mr. Keyes wasn't very remorseful. What do you think, Krystal?
I think he had some few choice words. Maybe not YouTube friendly.
I think that's probably safe to say. Anyway, when we were coming up over that crest, I caught a very brief glimpse of the mill site, so we're just about there. So before we look at the actual mill, I noticed this in the trees. Another old truck of some sort.
Pardon me?
Yeah, she made it. Yeah, this one's nice. It's still got some of the color left. Yeah, let's take a peek inside. Not a whole lot left in there, is there? And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get this one running. We might get the other one running, but we're missing the engine in this one. Krystal's already headed up to the mill itself. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Made by the Dimmitt Company in Los Angeles, it looks like. On that tank right there, you can see where they used like the trunks of some Joshua trees there to build it. It's pretty cool. Looks like where Krystal's going, the trail goes all the way around, so we'll kind of take a little look-see. Unfortunately, I don't know of any arches back up in here. Very well might not be any, but I also wouldn't be surprised if you climbed around in here enough if you'd find some. Actually, kind of the main goal of being in Joshua Tree right now is tomorrow's adventure. We're planning on going way off trail to find an arch, well, hopefully a couple arches that honestly I can only find like 2 or 3 people that's ever posted any pictures of it. So that should be pretty exciting. But anyway, for now, the back side of the mill, and you can kind of see some of the workings in there. Unfortunately, I can't get a better spot. Maybe if I go around again on this rock, but I don't really want to get stabbed by him at the moment. I need to get where Krystal is. I would love to go in there and get you guys a shot of it, but obviously it's fenced off, which we'll obey. Based off all the carving and graffiti, unfortunately you can see a lot of people don't obey that. And let me switch to my cell phone and see if I can get you guys a little bit better view in there. So you can see a little bit better in there now. Looks pretty cool in there, but like I said, we'll obviously obey the fence. Just as I was talking about arches, I found one. He's not very impressive. I could probably crawl through there if I took the backpack off and really tried, but we're not going to do that. And just to document it, this is actually the other side of that little arch I found. So as you can see, he's real low to the ground. I don't even think I can really get an angle from this side showing you that goes through, but trust me, it does. No idea what arch this is. Okay, and here's that other old truck we saw. This one has the engine, so I think we can probably get it running and drive it on out of here. But again, I have no clue what kind of vehicle this would be or what the time period of it is. I am not a car guy. So if anybody knows, let me know. Regardless, even without knowing exactly what kind of vehicle it is, it's still pretty cool. Bed's still pretty well intact. Obviously the interior's pretty much gone. Something kind of interesting I just noticed, if you look at the framing around the door and the window up here, you'll see that it's actually wood. And it's just held together with like wood screws. Just pretty interesting. You can actually see the little bit of the door handle left there. Definitely quite a bit different from how vehicles are put together these days. So at this point, I think we've seen everything there is to see out here at the Wall Street Mill. Pretty nice, easy hike, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
But
easy.
it's also like 70 degrees, so.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a couple days before Christmas and it's 70 degrees out here. But yeah, this was about 1.1 miles, I think. Completely flat, just a little sandy. Very easy, and some cool history along the way. With that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.